If my client doesn't show, why don't we do that?
Do what?
Go for a drink.
Oh, thanks for the offer, but
What?
you're not my type. Sorry.
What type am I then?
The older, married type.
I meant as a friend, Nina. You misunderstood.
So the girl at reception.
Nina? She's okay. Why? You interested?
Oh, she's nice.
Nice means you want to fuck her.
Wouldn't you given half a chance? Yeah, you're bullshitting me.
Nah. I'm not her type. Too old, apparently. The downside of hitting 30. The feast slowly becomes a famine. Tell you something though. Chick before Nina, what was her name? Shit, doesn't matter. She had the biggest pair of tits I'd ever seen. Just beautiful.
Hey guys, that was our exclusive peek at the movie Introspectum Motel. I'm sitting here with the director Marcel Dorian. How are you today?
Hi, Stephanie. Yeah, I'm great. Glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. Before we get into the details of the movie, can you explain to us who you are, how you got started in acting, and what your experience in the industry has been?
Sure. Well, my name is Marcel Dorian, as you were kind enough to introduce me. I was born in Romania into a bilingual, multinational family. This was post-communist Romania, and there was this huge wave of movies coming in, and that's when I fell in love with them. But family tradition dictated that I would become a lawyer. So I went into law school, I finished that, and I realized there was no way I was going to do that for the rest of my life. So I quit being a lawyer and went back to my childhood dream, enrolled into drama school, and never looked back.
That's fantastic. You have such a diverse background. Do you think that helps you as an actor?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it does. Growing up in a family of mixed nationalities definitely exposes you to different scenarios. I can switch between languages easily, between different situations. So it kind of, creates a muscle reflex. But that's as far as that goes. Acting is a craft, and you have to work on it. You have to keep learning, and that's what I do. I still keep working on it.
Speaking of crafts, you're multilingual. Can you tell me about the languages you speak, how long it took you to master them, and what your experience with that is like?
Well, yeah, I mean, mastering, I'm not sure if I actually mastered any of them. But growing up, I was speaking Romanian with my father, with my mother, Hungarian with my father, and English, I don't know, with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Yeah, grew up watching those cartoons, and then practice makes perfect. So I still keep working at it. I still speak Romanian with my mother, Hungarian with my father. Yeah, I don't talk to Bugs Bunny anymore, but hey, that's life.
That's how I learned English too. I actually grew up listening to Bugs Bunny because I spoke a different language at birth too. So it's kind of funny that
cool.
you mentioned that.
What's up,
Yeah.
Doc?
That's exactly how I learned. That's awesome. How do you keep your dialects distinct? Because Hungarian and Romanian, they're two different dialects. How do you keep it distinct?
Completely. Practicing, it's just something you have to do. That's why I still, speak different languages to my parents. They both speak both languages, but I only speak Romanian with my mom and Hungarian with my dad. That's how I do it.
Can you give us an example of how you would say, hi, how are you in both languages, just so we can see how different it is?
Yeah, sure. I mean, in Romanian is ciao, ce faci? and in Hungarian would be Szia, hogy vagy?
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
totally different.
worlds apart. Yeah, definitely.
And something, you know, to get back on your craft and studying, I noticed that you host acting workshops. What got you started in that, and what drives your passion to teach other people what you're doing?
The magic of acting, that's the name of the workshop, is pretty much designed for beginners. I went to drama school, but I've also attended workshops in Italy, in France. And what I've realized is that there's no right or wrong way of approaching acting. Sometimes I rely more on instinct, other times I rely on the craft. So the magic of acting will be a hybrid between what I've learned in school and what I've learned on the job. And hopefully people will have fun, and when they walk out the studio doors, they'll know whether or not this is something they want to pursue further. That's the goal.
And in this COVID-like world, with your magic of acting, is this available via Zoom, or it's only in-person classes right now?
I don't believe in teaching acting in online classes. Yeah, acting is about energy, about connections. So I'm hoping that by the time we're planning to host them, which is August, things will open up. Of course, we'll still follow the governmental guidelines and everything else, but acting is about energy, about being in the room and responding to each other. So I'm not sure if we could do that online.
Well, hopefully we can get to a place in the world where we're back out in the world and we can, be together again, because I do agree with you. Acting is about passion and feeding off each other's energy. So, and you're not just an actor, you're actually a director too. That's kind of a big leap. What made you make that jump?
Yeah, it is a leap. Necessity. Necessity is the best answer for that. You see, as an actor, you are pretty much a gun for hire. You show up, you do your best with the material that you've been given, but you don't really have any control over the movie. And because this was a story that I wanted to tell, I wanted to have that control over the story, over the vision. And I also wanted to challenge myself artistically.
Okay, so this is your first directing role.
As in features, I've directed shorts before.
That's fantastic. And let's talk about Introspectum Motel. Can you give us a short synopsis of the plot and really what the experience was like directing and acting and writing in it? Because you're all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I was mentioning that I wanted to challenge myself, and you know what? I got it. It was by far the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. I'll be honest with you. I wrote the story, but then I had to find writers to actually write the script with. So we did that, and then find investors, and then go through the casting process, and then find locations, and then shoot the thing, and then post-production. So it really, really wasn't easy. Luckily, my wife's one of the producers, so she helped me organize it, because I'm not that good with organizing stuff. And it wasn't easy, but also it was a really amazing experience, because I've met and worked with some really incredible, hungry, creative people, who gave their best day in and day out. And the final product, Introspectum Motel, is something that we're all really proud of. I think what we managed to accomplish is a really cool neo-noir psychological thriller. We tried to take the classical love triangle and pretty much flip it on its head until you don't know who's who and what's what. It's angry, it's raw, sometimes nasty, and the characters, there's no hero and there's no villain. Everybody's both, like in real life. So, hopefully you'll be rooting for and despising every single character, in turn. Yeah.
So speaking of your wife, is she in the film acting?
Yeah, she's also an actress. Yeah, she's also an actress. So yeah, it was pretty
It was
much everyone was involved. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
multifaceted for the film. That's fantastic. And what is your character's name and how do you best describe him?
My character's name is Felipe, and he's kind of a womanizer, but he's going through, a crisis of its own, and the effects that his actions have on his environment, on his family, are pretty devastating. And I really wanted to go deep into this world of people who cheat and lie and deceive other people, and take away the curtains, the magic, the beauty of that, and just leave the wound open, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think you do a good job of that, especially in that clip you showed. Clearly, he's trying to cheat on his spouse, and the woman's caught him, so to speak. And why in particular did you want to share that clip with us?
Well, it was hard to share a clip that wouldn't give away too much. So I tried, I fished for a clip that would put you in the world of Introspectum Motel without feeding you too much information, keeping the magic, keeping the secret.
Well, it definitely keeps us intrigued. So please let us know when we can start to see this film, because I know a lot of us are probably sitting here going, okay, we're ready. We want to see this film right now. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. But let's talk more about you. We live in this pre-COVID world. How's it affected you personally and professionally? And what have you done to kind of stay sane in it?
Professionally, I booked a really cool job in a feature called The Swimmers. I was about to fly to Turkey to start shooting, and then COVID happened and the whole project got put on hold. So yeah, that wasn't cool. I also did my very best to finish post-production for Introspectum Motel in February, so we can access a wider selection of festivals, and then the festivals shut their doors. So now it's a waiting game. On a personal level, I guess, like everyone else, it was tough not being able to do the things that I've taken for granted. But to stay sane, I kept working out, focusing on my plans. That's how I stay sane. And hopefully, now that we're closer to the other side, we'll start appreciating small things a lot more.
Yes. And do you think Hollywood's ever going to be the same after this?
I think, Hollywood will be just fine. The movie industry has a tendency to evolve organically. We live in a world where people stream things on their television sets, on their phones, on public transport, everywhere. So there's a real hunger for content like never before. So as long as there's demand, there's always going to be supply. And this movie's for you, junkies.
That's perfect. And this is one of my favorite questions. If you could put together your perfect movie with plot and cast members can be dead or alive, what would that movie look like and who would be in it?
Okay, I'm actually thinking about a concept for a movie. I'd like to have Florence Pugh and Natalie Portman as leads.
Wow.
I don't want to give away the plot, but it would be a cat and mouse chase between these two across Europe. That's just
that would be amazing.
Yeah, Natalie, Florence, if you hear this, get in touch.
That's what I'm saying. I love Natalie Portman, and I feel like even with that Jack little tidbit you gave us, I could totally see her doing a movie like that, and that'd be really exciting. I think it's fun to kind of fantasize about what future projects you want to do and what actors you want to start to bring on and what they can bring to the table because everybody brings something different, and
Their
it
own
makes it
energy. Yeah.
yeah, and it makes it completely a different story and a different plot from what you put down to on paper to what it becomes. And you seem so well put together. You've got a really great head on your shoulders. If you could go back into the past and give the younger version of you advice, what would that look like?
I think I'd tell myself, thicken your skin, dude. That's what I would, honestly. I mean, acting is a weird profession. You have, at least in the beginning, you have very little gratification for the work you put in.
Hmm.
So that's what I would tell myself, and just keep at it, keep going at it. Even if people think you're crazy, even if you think you're crazy, if this is something you love to do, keep doing it.
That's fantastic. I think I probably would have similar advice to myself when I was younger, because the younger version of me is very sensitive and very like, well, I should have done this and I should have done that. So I think as we get older and we progress in our different crafts and careers, we need to learn to just chase that passion and not take things so personally. And let's flash forward now, 5 years from now. Where are you going to be and what are you going to be doing?
5 years from now, I mean, if I'll still be able to work on good movies, either as a director or an actor, whichever, that would make me happy. And also, I'd like to have children, be a good dad, be a good husband, travel some more, and just be happy.
That's great. Do you ever think you'll be here in the United States?
But yeah, hopefully, yeah, definitely. That's the plan.
That's I really love the fact that your personal and your career goals really align and you want to transition to the next level in both areas of your life. And as actors, there are a lot of things that, people don't see. They don't see the human behind your character. They don't see your private life and they don't see what you believe in or what you stand for. The world has changed significantly. We've got COVID, we've got issues with police brutality. People are worried about racism, they're worried about politics in general. Do you feel it's an actor's place to get involved in politics?
That's a tricky question. I mean, actors, like everybody else, they're entitled to have opinions and also to express them. But I also believe that everything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, so to speak. So
Yes.
you have to be careful with what you're saying and how people perceive it, because those two can be completely different. So for me, I think it's safer and wiser, in my case, to keep my political views for my close friends and my family. That's what I believe.
And that's because you're a lawyer too, correct?
I mean, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. And do you still practice law by chance?
Nope, never.
100,
I'll never go
100%
back to that.
devoted.
Yes,
That's perfect.
this is what I do.
And I love that. I love the fact that you're an actor and you're full-fledged and devoted to it. It's obviously been a rocky road. Nobody has a perfect life. Can you tell me about a time you hit your lowest point and how did you get yourself out of that?
I think it was probably just after high school. I was a pretty good water polo player. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's pretty much soccer but in water. And I wanted to go pro, and I had an injury. And pretty much I've lost the window of opportunity to go pro, and I was devastated, actually. I was depressed. I started drinking, smoking, going out, just having a destructive lifestyle. But I also realized that something has to change, and that wasn't healthy for me. So I quit smoking. I eased off on the booze, started working out, and I tried to channel my anger and my energy in something creative, and I think it helps.
That's fantastic. And something I like to ask all our viewers when they come on, can you tell me about a time, and you kind of answered this, but maybe you can detail it a little bit more, that you had to push aside all doubt and really just go after your dreams and go for it?
Well, this baby right here.
That's perfect.
Odds were against it, to be honest. This is not necessarily the kind of movie that studios are comfortable with. So just, being able to reach out to investors, have them invest in a movie, invest in me as a director when I didn't have a clear track record as a feature film director, was a dream come true. I mean, just being here, talking to you about this movie is a dream come true.
That's fantastic. And when can we see Introspectum Motel? I know that it's hitting the field, the festivals. When can we as viewers watch it?
I mean, I can't tell you an exact date, but hopefully it will be in November. That's pretty much the plan, but it depends a lot on the festival run.
That's perfect. And are you open to having fans contact you at all or asking you additional questions if need be?
Yeah, sure, of course, definitely.
Hey, that's great. So what we can do is if anybody contacts me, I can give you the messages, or we can drop your email in the comment or the links. So people, I'm sure after this, because I have a lot of questions, after this, everyone's going to want to see Introspectum Motel, and you might start seeing petitions to have this movie run a little bit sooner. So I'll be excited to see it, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Guys, I hope you liked this sneak peek at the movie Introspectum Motel. Once again, this is the director, actor, and writer of the movie, Marcel Dorian. And I'm so glad you guys can join us on a Saturday. Happy Saturday, everybody.
Happy Saturday. Thank you, Stephanie.